Joining us now, she's among the nation's leaders in stolen bases, leads Alabama in hitting, of course, having a fantastic freshman year. I speak of Audrey Vandagriff joining us here on In the Circle at D1 Softball, powered by 643. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What have you learned the most as a freshman this year in Division One college softball so far?
Probably just how to adjust pitch to pitch, play to play. The game is a lot faster than, travel ball or high school ball, and just trying to make adjustments as quick as possible to have success.
You're among the nation's leaders in stolen bases. As we record this, you got 47 steals, among the most in the history of the program in a single season. What's the key to being a very good base runner and a stolen base threat like you are?
Well, a lot of things have to come into play. You have to get a single or a walk, and nobody can be in front of you. So, as much as it is speed, it is logistics and how everything pans out. You got to you do have to have speed, and sometimes it takes a perfect throw, but 9 times out of 10, speed wins.
You obviously are coached by one of the greatest in the history of the program, in Kayla Bro. What's it been like being coached by her?
Yes, sir. I mean, she's just an awesome mentor, coach to look up towards, player. She was a standout at Alabama, as everyone knows, and just to be able to learn under her as an outfielder and as a leadoff. She played as a freshman leadoff, so she's kind of going through the same things that I am, and just to have her in my corner anytime I need is such an honor.
She is regarded as one of the greats all time in Alabama. Of course, the speed is she had the short game. Describe how she teaches the short game to you and your teammates.
Yes, sir. I don't really slap, but as far as drag bunt, she's just taken my bunting skills to the next level. She just focuses on, the last 2 inches of the bat, hitting the ball, hitting the middle of the ball with the last 2 inches of the bat, and just teaching that, you don't realize how hard it is until it becomes such a craft and such an art. Just trying to hit that ball on the last 2 inches of the bat, and she's taught me so much, and I still have a lot to learn.
You do. She mentioned when I had her on before the year started that you and are part of this outfield. It's the fastest outfield in the country, among the best. There. Describe your fellow outfielders and how you all work together and fit so well.
Yes, sir. She's totally right. I mean, we have the fastest outfield in the country by far, but Kristen White, she can cover, any ground in the outfield. Just having her out there is awesome. It makes us excel. Larissa Pruitt, she'll make the most fantastic diving plays. She's got a ton of speed as well. Little J, Lauren Johnson. I mean, she's very quick. I know she's not known for like as fast as she is, but she's quick, and she'll make those just, Sports Center top 10 plays that are just absolutely phenomenal. I just have tons of respect for all of them. Lex Papillo, whenever she gets out there, her IQ is awesome. I mean, there's no doubt any of the outfielders that get in the game. I mean, we have 100% trust in them.
You kind of set the tone in the first week of the season. I think you had 5 stolen bases to set the single game record against Western Michigan back in that tournament in Arizona. Do you remember that game and what came to your mind there? 5 stolen bases. That was a pretty good immediate impact you made. That was part of a weekend where, as a team, you all stole 21.
Yes, sir. I do remember that way back when, but I mean, my whole life I've gotten a single and stolen second automatically, and I really was just doing what makes my game special. I happened to get on a few times that game. I don't really remember, but I do remember those 5 stolen bases. Like I said, just doing what makes my game special, and I happened to get a bunch of singles, even if it was a walk, and I was fortunate enough to get those stolen bases done.
Of course, most recently, now the irony is people now think of you as that walk-off homer there against Oklahoma on that Monday night, which everybody seems like saw it. I know you got a lot of immediate media attention after the game and all that. You've had time to reflect on that. What comes to your mind now that you've had a little time to reflect from that moment in front of that incredible atmosphere at Alabama at home against Oklahoma?
Looking back, it was really honestly uncharacteristic of what kind of player I am. Everybody knows I'm not really known for the home runs, but my whole life I've just been waiting for the moment to show me, why my dream when I was little was to play college softball. Like, why did I have that dream, from a young age? And my whole life I've prayed for God to show me my purpose in life. And my gosh, I don't even know how many people were there, but he gave me that platform to show how great his name was, not how great Audrey Vandagriff was. And looking back, I'm still in awe. Just I kind of get emotional just talking about it, just because that moment was for him. And everybody who got to watch that game saw my testimony at the end of the game, and that was for him and his glory, and to make his name great.
You remember the celebration afterwards, or is it all blur?
The blur running around the bases, I don't even remember what happened, but I do remember touching home and just jumping up and down with my teammates. I got a water bath, ice bath, as soon as the interview was over. But I mean, it was just like you're coming home to see your family, and they're just loving you and supporting you, and it was awesome.
The funny part is, you say, you're not. That's not what you're known for. That's not your game, hitting home runs. Yet I feel like every time I've watched you on TV, you're hitting home runs. Because I remember coming home and I watched. I think you hit was your first home run at LSU,
My first
or
home run was against UCLA in Clearwater.
UCLA in
Mhm.
Clearwater, which I saw that in TV, and then I think you hit one against LSU,
Yeah.
which I watched. So I've seen three of your four home runs every time on television. I don't know if there's a coincidence there or not. Uh, there is that where you're the most improved. Like when you came to Alabama, what's the area you think you've improved the most since you've arrived at Alabama?
Honestly, I'd say my short game,
Okay.
as far as bunting, I've always had a little bit of pop. And I would hit home runs here and there, whether in travel ball or high school. Um, I wouldn't say I'm not a home run hitter, but I wouldn't say I am one, just kind of floating in the middle. But I'd honestly say my short game, just because if I rip one into left center, the next at bat I'm probably bunting because they're probably deep. And just having the ability to not waste a strike, taking advantage of the ball that's given to you, getting it down. Because as soon as you square, if it's foul, they're like, oh goodness, she's gonna bunt. So just trying to develop that more and more. And like I said, I still have a lot of learning to do, just because, the short game is one of my strengths, but it's also one of the hardest things in softball.
What's your favorite part of softball playing wise? Is it base running? Is it hitting? Is it defense? What's your favorite part?
By far base running.
I knew it. I had a feeling. This is why Coach Bro likes you so much. I think it was the same for her.
Just because like I said, I love sprinting, I love running, I love stealing. So everything base running has to offer.
As I understand, you ran track.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct? How
Mhm.
good of a track star were you?
I was all right. I won the 100 and 200 state championship my junior year. Um, and went to state two-time runner up in the 100 meter. So I dabbled in track a little
That's
bit here
pretty
and there.
good. Yeah, yeah. See, I wanted you to brag about yourself a little bit there because I knew you were a star track athlete from talking to the coaches about that. How did track help you from into softball?
So I ran the 100, which is obviously not 60 feet, but it is a short race in track. And out of track, the most thing that helped me is my start, because if you translate track to softball, it's not near the distance of 100 meters. And in 60 feet, you can't reach full or top speed. You can't reach top end speed in 60 feet. And so in the track aspect, there's a drive phase, and as soon as you get out of your drive phase, which is where you're building speed, that's when you reach top end speed. Well, you never get out of your drive phase in 60 feet because it's roughly 40 meters. And so honestly, the most important part of stealing a base is the first three steps because it's your slowest. So how fast can you be in your first three steps to get up to close to top end speed, but how fast can you get in 60 feet starting with the first three steps is just kind of what I focus on.
That's really good. And mechanics are a big part of that too. The technique being right on level there. You ran track. You mentioned earlier you want your dream was to play college softball. What got you interested in playing softball growing up?
Growing up, I'm the youngest of three. I have an older brother and a sister in the middle. So my brother grew up playing baseball. That was his sport for a while before he changed to football, but he was a great athlete. Um, so he started off playing baseball. My sister came along. She's a true lefty. She started playing softball. And so it was my turn to pick a sport. And what did I do? I picked softball because that's what my big sis and my big brother were doing. So I picked up the bat left-handed, and the rest is history.
History indeed. They didn't challenge you to races, did they?
They did, and in fact, I was a lot slower than they were just because I'm the youngest, and my sister had 2 years on me. My brother had three, so I had my mini t temper tantrums just because I was too slow, and they always get me out in tag or whatever.
But eventually you caught up. You passed them, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, is anybody on your team currently challenged into a race, or do they know your background and like shy away?
We don't really like race head to head, but I guess I'm the fastest on the team. I
I
don't
would
know.
say so. I'm going to say that. Yeah, I'll say that. I'll say that on your behalf. I mean, you're what state champ. I mean, yeah, I would take you over. I'll take you on the, almost most runners. I mean, you're probably one of the fastest in the sport right now. Uh, did you have favorite athletes growing up?
Honestly, if you want my real answer, my favorite athletes were my brother and my
That's
sister.
fair. No, that's really well. That's well said.
Um, I mean, I watch sports here and there. As I've gotten older, my favorite athlete, not softball related, but Sydney McLaughlin, 400-meter hurdler,
Whoa.
two-time Olympic champion. I think her what she believes in and how she pushes herself to just continue to get better and better, and it doesn't really have to relate to softball because it's a sport, and she's the best in the nation, and she's still finding ways to get better.
What made you pick softball over track? Because it sounds like you have a passion for track as well. Is it just softball was your first love?
Yes, sir. I did kind of think about it here about my sophomore junior year, but I grew up a huge softball fan. It was my first love, and I mean that's where my heart is. That's where my passion is, and although I do have a love for track, it helps me excel in softball.
No, it does definitely. What made you come to Alabama? What was it that won you over to be a Crimson Tide?
So, Alabama was my last visit, and so it was kind of the, final road, final showdown for me. And I remember it like it was yesterday, but it was the photo shoot. And I was putting on the jersey, and my mom was in there with me, and I was getting ready. She was helping me, look pretty. And I told my mom, I was like, this feels like home. Like I really couldn't imagine a jersey fitting any better. And what played a big part into that is just, when you come to the Rhodes House, it's almost a sellout every single game, if not. I mean, they lead the country in attendance. And as a female athlete, you want your sport to be valued, because football players, everybody watches college football. Everybody watches men's basketball. And you as a female athlete, you want your sport to be valued. You want people to watch it. You want to feel, just as big as the football players do. And I feel like at Alabama they do, a phenomenal job just promoting women's sports, and that has a lot to do with Coach Murphy, just because he cares so much about promoting women's sports, and above all, he's just a great coach. He created a legacy at Alabama. I knew the coaching staff wouldn't change. I knew what he stood for. Um, I mean, he's just a huge father figure to every girl on the team, and that's what you want when you're going to college. You want somebody to make you feel like you're home, like you're loved, no matter what softball is.
Yeah, no doubt. What, of course, Coach Murphy, you mentioned playing for him. What's it been like playing for him? Do you have a favorite story of Coach Murphy being around him? Because he's very fascinating. He's fantastic to talk to, and he's always fantastic with the media. What's it been like playing for him?
I mean, like I said, he's just a great coach, a great guy more than anything. Um, there's not really a one sentence to put him into, a category or a word just because there's so many good things about him. As soon as I came to campus, I told him at the end of my exit meeting. But before season started in the fall, I told myself, whatever Murph and Bro or any of the coaches tell me, I'm going to say yes, sir, and yes, ma'am, because they know what it takes to have success at the next level. And Murph has done so much for me. He's taught me so much. I don't really have a favorite story about him. But he always puts a smile on my face, and what I really love most about him is, yes, I am having success as a freshman. Um, yes, there's a lot of positives, but when I'm not having my best game or I'm not doing my best, he's the one that's there like pushing me, and like even if it's making me a little mad, he's there to just help me become better and pushing me because he knows that it's not my best, or he knows that there's more. And just having somebody like that who knows that there's still more in you even though you're doing good is just amazing.
It gives you positive reinforcement when you need it, right? He knows the balancing act on how that works as a coach there from that standpoint. Which players has taken you under your wing and helping you, not just with softball, but just being a student athlete at Alabama?
Um, Hands down, it's probably Marley Giles and Larissa Pruitt. The first week I came to campus, Marley and I went to church together. And, ever since then, she's just made me feel like a sister and like I'm loved. And Larissa, in the outfield, first day of practice, we became throwing partners. And those two, they just remind me of like my sister. And my sister is like the closest thing that I have. And just having those two here, like I get emotional talking about it, but just having those two here and making me feel loved, it's just awesome.
The family, you got a family. It sounds like to me there, and with that team there. What's it like being a student athlete at Alabama? You referenced the great support for women's sports, football, and obviously the interest there is enormous there for football. I'm sure you've gone to football games, men's basketball. Going to a Final Four a year ago, Elite Eight, things like that. What's it been like being a student athlete at Alabama?
I mean, it's been awesome. You go to the dining hall and you see Jalen Milrow or you see Mark Sears, and you're like, holy cow, like this is the norm. And I remember the first fall I was here, I was walking out of the dining hall and Ryan Williams comes walking across from me, and I was like, this is crazy that this is the norm and nobody thinks anything about it. But, little freshman me, I was like, what the world? But I don't know, man. It's just awesome. All the athletes respect each other. Obviously you have balancing school, but like I said, all the athletes support other athletes. I don't know if you saw, but the Alabama football team came to the Monday night game of Oklahoma, and just
Yeah,
having them there like is awesome because there's, I don't know, probably all the student athletes go and watch them play football, but it was such an honor just to have them even, walk up and watch even an inning. I don't know how long they stayed, but it was awesome.
no question. And I visited the Roadhouse and I visited the campus before. And what impresses me is all the history is celebrated. Like I'm sure you've seen the football statues of the coaches at Alabama that have coached there. And then even at the Roadhouse, all the great players that have played at Alabama are either on the wall or on the concourse. What is that like to see all that history being celebrated? I remember telling Coach Murph, I'm like, I was blown away by, and he gave me a tour of the stadium. What's it like for you as a current player to see all that history and tradition around you?
Um, I mean, it's such an honor, and you don't really understand the term where legends are made until you get to the campus and you live it every single day and every game and every inning, every pitch. And I mean, there's so many legends here. Like I'm looking at the field right now, so many legends here that are just amazing, and just to step on the same field as them is just absolutely such an honor. And like I said, the other sports, there's Nick Saban and all the people that contributed in football and everywhere else. I mean, there's just legends and just phenomenal athletes all across the campus. And to even get to put on the same jersey they did is just such an honor. And even try to fill half their footsteps that they left is such an honor, and I'm so thankful that I'm here at this place where legends are made.
And one of your coaches is on the wall, right? She's been honored all over the place. What do you guys y'all tease her about that? You tease Kayla about her being all over the stadium, basically as reminders.
I mean, we don't really, just because we have so much respect for her, but
You know your place. Gotcha.
yeah.
I understand. I understand. Have you met Nick Saban?
Um, oh, I actually have met him one time. My brother was a big quarterback recruit, and I came on a visit here with him, and so I met him through his visit. So yeah.
Oh wow! So you're one of the few people that could say you've been on a visit with Nick Saban and Patrick Murphy. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Like that should be like a. You should write a book on that. That's pretty. That's a pretty. Or do you see this? Do you remember at all that meeting with Nick Saban and like, or was you too young at that time?
Gosh, I would have been probably 13.
Okay, all right.
I don't remember exactly. I remember us going to practice. I remember us going into his office. I don't remember exactly what it looked like, but I know it was huge and I was like mesmerized. Um, but it was a good old time.
I'm envious of you. That's pretty. That's incredible. You get to say you've been the two of the greatest coaches in college sports history, and you have been part of a visit on two of them. Like right, that's wild. That congrats to you on that. Props to you. Not many. I don't think there are many that could say that, if any. You might be exclusive on that. What what is your what as far as the team is concerned? Who is the funniest player on the team?
Funniest player on the team.
Yeah, somebody needs to crack a joke. It's too, somebody needs to loosen things up. Who's the jokester?
Definitely Kinley Pate. Number 6. She's hilarious. And to have her in the outfield, she just makes me laugh like always. Even if the team's like not doing, our best, and we come in the dugout and she'll spark something up and just make everybody just, laugh and everything. She's definitely a big spark to our team.
Go to place that you or your family go to in town or in
Probably
the area.
Urban Cookhouse.
Okay, okay,
Hmm.
that's a good choice. That's very good. I'm a big barbecue person when I went to Bama that time, so very good. All right, you got a couple of weeks to go before the SEC championship tournament and the regionals and all that. What as a team, what are you all focusing on and getting better that you think could make the difference here as you make a big push at the end here?
Just staying the course. We've had a lot of great wins, and we've also had some, tough losses that just fell at our fingertips. And just staying the course. We have two big matchups between Missouri and then South Carolina. So we still have a lot to prove. And like I said, we're just trying to make it past game one in the SEC tournament and going through there.
Every weekend it's a gauntlet in the SEC there, but has the Roadhouse experience been everything you thought, or has it even exceeded your expectations? Like you had probably an expectation playing there with the atmosphere, but has it exceeded your expectations, or is it about what you thought it would be playing there at home?
I'd probably say it's exceeded my expectations just because you don't know what it feels like or sounds like till you're in the box and they're
Sure.
cheering for you. It's one thing to be sitting in the stands and you're a part of it, but whenever you're on the field, sometimes it's so loud it just goes to silence. And like I said, probably the most packed I've seen the Reds house was the Oklahoma series. And I can remember just the crowd roaring, just the whole game. Caitlin strikes somebody out and they're just all just, cheering, and it's definitely been a party.
Well, it's going to be a great atmosphere this weekend. You're hosting Missouri, and if you host regionals, which if you take care of business, you probably will. That you haven't yet, wait till that atmosphere. You get to experience that in your path there as well. But hey, in the meantime, thanks for taking the time to talk to us here after practice. I've enjoyed watching you play since you made your debut out in Arizona. You're fun to watch, and I wanted to get you on, and appreciate you taking the time to talk to us here on In the Circle on D1 Softball. Good luck the rest of the way.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.